and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Wherever it is that you are in the entire world, we are thankful for you tuning into our fifth broadcast, our fifth podcast of Think Tactical, the strategical awareness thinking site helping you to become more proficient and more efficient at protecting your family in this world where things can quickly go awry. I have, along with me, two of my colleagues that will introduce themselves and tell you good evening as we begin our show. And I just want to tell you we are thankful to have you, and I want to introduce or have him introduce himself. My first colleague,
Coach Myron Petro.
And my second
Bob
colleague,
the Eclipse Coleman.
Bob Eclipse Coleman. And Coach Petro and Bob the Eclipse are two great guys that we have assembled in our three-man team. Coach Petro is an Eagle Scout, avid outdoorsman and hunter. And Bob the Eclipse Coleman is a ham radio operator, engineer, avid outdoorsman. Myself, I am a martial artist instructor and somewhat of an outdoorsman and survivalist and prepper. All of us together make Think Tactical, and we're going to do some incredible things as the time goes on. Right now, we're available on Spreaker, and we want to tell you to go to our online magazine, thinktacticalnews.com. Thinktacticalnews.com covers all sorts of contemporary news stories, articles, and information pieces to help you in your task at becoming more proficient in protecting your family. The latest news, the latest scenarios, what to do in a what-if scenario, all those things you'll find over on our new online magazine, thinktacticalnews.com. And don't forget our YouTube page, Think Tactical. Think Tactical is the same thing that we do on the podcast and the same thing that we do on the news channel, but it also is video. So one of the things that we did last was we've just done a show called BugOut Bags. And we all three, it was a really interesting thing that all three of us are, we're all three friends. And the crazy thing about us having these BugOut Bags is we've all had them for years and we've all talked about them for years. And so we thought for the show, for our one of our first video shows, actually it was our second video, we thought we'd all bring our BugOut Bags in and see what each guy had. And we want you guys to go over and watch that show on Think Tactical, the YouTube channel, and see what the three of us have in our bags. And I think you're going to be absolutely amazed, as we were as friends. So first of all, Coach Petro, what is a BugOut Bag and what is its purpose?
Okay, a BugOut bag in some instances can also be called a get-home bag. That's mine when I keep it, because I keep it in my vehicle. I have it in case I have to leave the vehicle and get myself home in an emergency situation. The emergency situation, the stuff in my bag allows me to fight my way home. And you ask, fight what? Well, it might be the elements. In a case a few years ago, we had Snowmageddon, and people had to park their cars. They couldn't go anywhere, and they were stuck until they ran out of gas. And then they had to go off on foot anyway. So I might have to fight elements. I might have to fight. There might be civil unrest. I could drive myself into a neighborhood where there's a riot. So the stuff in the bag is there to get me to get home.
In case
so where I can get.
In case you have to leave the car or bug out from the car, you're
exactly.
bugging out with
in case I have to leave the vehicle because for some reason, whatever that reason is, I can't use it anymore. And another BugOut bag is people where if you have to leave in a hurry for a hurricane coming in or something like that where you have to evacuate your home. That's where a home BugOut bag comes in. And having that stuff all ready and prepared before the emergency happens is a smart thing because then you don't forget stuff. You put your thought into it while you're not panicked and not rushed. You put your thought into what you need in that bag, what you need to survive for a few days, or what you might need to survive for longer than that. Clothes, food items, utensils, medication, stuff like that.
So what you're saying is that you can have more than one bug-out bag, and you can have a bug-out bag that can be in more than one place. Like, for instance, you have a get-home bug-out bag designed to get you home, and so that bug-out bag or that get-home bag resides in your vehicle. How many bug-out bags do you have, Eclipse, and what do you do with your bug-out bags?
Well, like Myron, I have a get-home bag that I keep always in my vehicle, and you go watch the video, you'll see mine. It's a little smaller than Myron's. I think I got some improvements to make there. And I also have a bug-out bag of the type that Myron was talking about, the second type, for emergency situations where we have to vacate our residence for an extended period of time. And both of them are designed to actually work together in some form or fashion. Some of the things not too much of it is redundant across the bag. So my expectation is if I'm grabbing the bug-out bag, I'm also going to be grabbing my get-home bag, and they're going to go together.
So I tell you what, I was really amazed when I saw the bags that you guys had, because I'll tell you, and I really I'm really interested to find out what you guys learned when we saw each other's bags. And you know, when I'm putting my bag together, and a lot of the times, I think maybe we might suffer from this, and you guys can let me know if you do or not, but a lot of times I think, well, maybe I'm just being overly, concerned. This is stupid. You're never going to need this damn thing, and everybody's going to laugh at me, but I'm still finding myself putting it together. And then the stuff I'm putting in it, I'm like, oh, man, give me a break. You're really putting tinder in here like you're going to go start a fire? Really, you're going to have a space blanket in case you're going to... I mean, I'm just... Sometimes I'm looking at myself and I'm just doubting everything I'm putting in it. Like, I'm looking at it twice and I'm second-guessing myself. And I tell you something. To see my items in you guys' bags really did it for me. I was beaming, smiling. You will see this in the video. I'm just beaming, smiling the whole time, like, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Or my buddies are just as crazy as I am. What do you guys think?
I was going to say, not crazy. It's a little debatable there, John.
Yeah. A little heavy on the hand sanitizer there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So what did you think?
I was heavy on the ammo, but you were heavy on the hand sanitizer.
Oh, heavy on something. It's all right.
So we all have our pet peeves, but what did you guys think? What did you think when you saw each other's bags? What did you think, Coach?
It gave me some thought about some more things to put into my bag. Things like I do have some collapsible metal utensils that I could use to put on, if I need to heat some water on a fire, things like that. So, and I had no hand sanitizer in my bag, so I might take out one of my spare magazines and put in hand sanitizer.
Well,
make the room for it.
For me, I think the hand sanitizer, I had a lot of it. I think the hand sanitizer was important because I was also thinking of it as something to start fires, especially when it was wet or something. And you guys had some real cool stuff for that. What was your feeling, Eclipse? What did you think when you saw the other bags?
Well, I thought they were well stocked. Like you said, there was a lot of commonality between the three bags, which was good to see. Like you said, you're thinking, okay, I'm not too far off here. I liked Myron's compact and organization of his bag. It was very compact. There was a lot of stuff in that little bag he had. My bag probably volume-wise looked as big as his, but it didn't hold near half the stuff. So one of the things I'll be looking at is maybe a different bag for my get-home bag.
When I picked that bag, I liked it because it had so many different little pockets to be able to have certain things that you could get at real quick without having to dig through like one single big bag.
I took from it. So we had 3 bags and 3 people and 3 personalities, and then we kind of had the completely disorganized bag, which was Eclipses, and then we had.
What? Wait a minute. Nice try.
The video won't lie on that one, John.
Yeah, the video is going to tell on that, bud. Try again.
Okay, so the truth of the matter is, my bag was absolutely the worst organized bag of them all. I had a big hole in which I dumped the world into. Bob's bag was much more much more organized, and he had a lot more containers and things like that. And one thing I had done that I've learned that I didn't like is I took things that were still in the packages and never took them out of the packages and put them into the bag. So the packages were crushed, but that takes up a lot of space and probably adds a lot of dead weight. So what I gathered from you guys' bags that I liked was there was a lot of more use of plastic bags, and then Myron's bag, I believe, was the most organized of them all. So you had sloppy, somewhat organized, and organized anally, and that would have to be Myron. He had a pouch for everything he had. Of course, we were expecting that from the Eagle Scout. And so what I got, one of the biggest things I got was organization, and I got some clues on some things I didn't have. So what do you think that you didn't have, Eclipse, that you would want to have? What were some of the things you saw that you might add to your bag?
Well, like Myron, one thing that was missing out of both of mine was any sort of serious cooking utensils. I mean, even if it's the metal bottom off of a standard Army canteen, that would be something that I would want to add to mine. The MRE that Myron had, I don't know if I have military-style MREs anymore. They're any good, but I could get something similar to that, like those Mountain House meals or something that would be nearly equivalent. Not quite as good, not as compact or well supplied, but at least it would be something. And especially on the big bag, at least 2 to 3 of those for each of the family members would be a good idea. And organizing for access. That was one of the things that impressed me with Myron's. It wasn't just so much the compartments, it was the most accessible compartments were set up with things that he would need to get to quickly and most often. And the stuff in the back of the bag was the stuff that he wouldn't have to get to so much. So it was that type of organization that was impressive as well.
And what did you...
Bob, you'd be surprised at how long those MREs actually last. And they say like a 5-year life on them. I have eaten MREs that were 12 to 15 years old. And there's nothing wrong with it, as long as you don't keep them in extreme temperatures.
Well, good, because our MREs that we got from you are, what, going on about 5 years old now?
Probably, yeah.
So
and the one I keep in my bag in my vehicle, I swap that one out every so often because it is in more extreme temperatures like in the summer. But the other ones that I have, stashed away in my house for emergencies, I hit one, like I said, that was over 15 years old, and I ate it, and it was fine.
That's good to know. Yeah, as part of this is one thing I'm going to add is a quarterly check of my bags, at least quarterly, maybe even monthly, but a minimum of a quarterly check, because I noticed as I was pulling some of the medical stuff out, I'm like, ooh, some of this is starting to look a little outdated, especially some of the medical swabs and things. I might open them up expecting to find some, benzene swabs, and they'll be dried up and worthless. So that's one of the things I'll be adding is a quarterly check. And also, if I have a medical bag in the house here, but I may add some of those elements into my BugOut bag, like your surgical kit was a real good idea. And maybe one of those trauma bandages wouldn't probably be a bad idea.
Yeah, that's what I found that I was most disappointed in myself, because when I first put my BugOut, and you could tell we all had a lot of thought in our BugOut bags at one time. At one time, we were all like on it. So one thing that I find that I'm a little bit disappointed in is that at some point I got to just a place in my life where the BugOut bag was over there in the corner, and I would do stuff like take things out of it and not put it back in. I found I was missing quite a few things. My surgical bag was out for whatever reason. I was missing a few things. My water hydration unit that goes on my back was missing. And so I think that, it kind of, when you get out of practice and then all of a sudden, I mean, what good is a BugOut bag that's not ready to bug out? And so you lost that. The other thing is, Bob, you had mentioned that there was part of your BugOut bag that you had in the refrigerator or something that you were going to take with you. And so that dawned on me. You need a note on your BugOut bag in that case, because one thing is for sure, if you're bugging out and the situation has gotten that serious, the last thing you're going to think about in most cases is to go look in the refrigerator. The other thing...
yeah, that was a good suggestion. I'm definitely going to add that note to the bag. Those are Daytrex bars. They're high-calorie, compact bars, survival-type food, and I believe they're lemon-flavored in my case. And they're designed to pack a whole lot of calories in a very small space. but their longevity's improved to keep them in the fridge. So I got them down there near my safe room downstairs and a refrigerator. So I need to have that note on the bag. You're right. Remind me to grab those on the way out when I'm getting the bag.
The other thing I found is that there were some pieces I was missing, and I believe the nutrition was the biggest piece. I've got my bag set up to catch something out there, and everybody I have ever seen, from Bear Grylls, whatever his name is, to every Survivor man and every Survivor show, those people starved damn near to death. And they lived for 21 days, and they were almost dead. They came out 60 pounds lighter in every show. Like almost nobody ate like a king. There was one guy on one show that I saw who actually caught a stingray and killed it, and they had food. Those people were never hungry, but they left the food out in a rainstorm and it washed away. My point is, you need to have some food. You know, Myron had 2,000 calories. I think I'm going to probably carry maybe 6,000 or 8,000 calories. I want 3 or 4 days of food in my bag, and if they're MREs, maybe they're small enough to carry. I want, or they're E-Trex bars or whatever you call them. I want 3 or 4 days. I want 6,000 to 8,000 calories in my bag.
Well, the Day-Tech bars are like 1,200 calories a piece, and the pack that I have has about, I think, 6 of those in it. So that's 12,000 calories.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
That's a whole lot. Each one of these bars has a lot of bloody calories in them. They're designed to, you eat one of these things one per day to keep you going, and they're not much bigger than a large Kit Kat bar.
and they say,
I have to look into those because I don't keep any of those around. I just figure, you know, even at 2,000 calories, that could supply me for 2-3 days. I could easily live off.
Oh yeah,
Water's more important than food at that point.
Oh yeah, the water was key. Yeah, getting my life straw in the bag is going to be one of the things I do tonight.
yeah, the life straw in the bag is. I was glad to have mine. And I know you can survive on 1,200 calories a day, but for a person that's really trekking and running hard and trying to move from one spot to another and is actually putting miles down, 1,200 calories a day ain't gonna quite make it. You're gonna be a hungry, very angry person for 1,200 calories. You're not gonna be happy. So if I can have 2,000 calories a day while I'm trying to get from point A to point B. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to be in the field more than a week, and that's what I'm going to stock up for. The other thing that I saw that I thought was quite interesting is I didn't have socks and I didn't have underwear. And if you're moving on foot, you got to have socks, and underwear just makes life, you know, nice when you can switch out a pair of underwear and keep moving. Wash some underwear out in a stream and let them hang off your bag to dry. There's nothing like being dry in those areas, and if your feet start to deteriorate, your ability to move is gone. So I was really pleased to see that in you guys' packs, socks and stuff like that, underwear, and finally toilet paper. Oh my gosh!
It's funny, when I was talking to my sister the day before we did the video, and I was telling her about my BugOut bag. She says, "We gotta have toilet paper," and I said, "Already done, and paper towels too."
Yeah, and not having that, I stand there feeling like, gee, well, you didn't really think out your bag too well. So I thought that was neat that we would get a chance to go over that and see each other's bags. And what I did like about all of us is our bags were very similar. We all addressed water and water purification to some extent. We all addressed some kind of first aid. We all addressed in our kits. We all had some sort of address for personal protection, and we all had some kind of way to have spare magazines, and we had as well. We had
don't forget the fire starter stuff. That was real common.
But we all had gun cleaning. We all had the ability to clean, reload, and properly carry our personal protection. Then we all addressed cold months. We had, not only did we have fire starting equipment, we had fire starting equipment for when it was wet outside, and we had fire starting equipment for when it was cold outside, and We had tinder. So we all really thought about fire, and that's how important fire was. So we thought about water. We thought about water purification. We thought about fire for warmth, and we thought about personal protection. We all had some kind of a first aid with all kinds of bandages and things like that, and wraps and things like that. And we all had navigation. We all had compass type of things. And a couple of us actually had walking navigation e-trek systems. So the similarities in our bag were far closer than the disparities, and the things that we didn't have were small, minute things. We all had knives, multiple knives, entrenching tools. We had all kinds of these things for a kind of a woodsy trek. What I wonder, guys, is because we were thinking more in the woods mindset, did we have enough stuff it takes to bug out in an urban environment? Like when you're caught, on 285, you're not necessarily trying to get home and not necessarily trying to go through the woods to get there. You're on public highways or whatever. I would be interested in maybe thinking about covering that subject. And wondering.
Well, one thing is you're not gonna, if depending on the situation, you're probably not gonna walk along the highway for long, because one, it's the long way, rather than you're gonna try. That's why the whole idea for the compass is you're gonna try to go as the crow flies to shorten your distance. That's why a lot of what I have is also survival for woods, and in the case of a civil unrest, you want to get away from the urban area. You want to get out on your own a little bit.
And get away from...
Because
yeah. Go ahead.
Get away from the zombies and goblins that want to take your stuff.
Right.
Because they didn't plan ahead.
Right. So anyway, guys, we're about out of time. Was there any parting statements either one of you guys wanted to make?
No, I just wanted to say, watch the video and give us some feedback. Tell us, maybe there's something that we don't have in our bag that you have in your bag. We want to hear from you. Give us your comments.
So you can leave.
Yeah, we don't claim to be the geniuses in this thing. I mean, we've thought it out. We've collected this stuff together for years. We've actually talked about it to some degree. Me being the reader, I've read several books on the subject, and so there's been some input. And even with all of that, I was missing a few things. So yeah, I echo Myron's sentiments. Give us your comments. Tell us where we're full of it and where we have room for improvement and where we did things right. Construction.
Our purpose here is to get the conversation rolling, get you thinking, and also getting you saying, well, geez, I have a bag. I'm not as crazy as everybody says I am. I'm prepared. These guys are the same as I am. They have the same thinking. And get us you. Maybe you have something in your bag that's a cool idea. Let us know. We want to see it in the comments.
That's absolutely outstanding. So remember, check out our other social media sites. You got Think Tactical. Excuse me. You got ThinkTacticalNews.com. You got Think Tactical, the YouTube channel, and you've got Think Tactical, the podcast. We'd love to have you guys check us out. Leave your comments in the sections below. Leave your comments on the video. Go check out the video. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for hanging out with us. We hope that you have a mindset that's going to keep you and your family safe. And we hope that you learn some of that and share some of that with us over here on Think Tactical. So, be good, be honest, do great things, have fun, enjoy your families, and be out in the world and be happy, and always think tactical.